Okay, welcome to part two. Now we're going to drop the sleeves on, and they're a little tricky with the puffer. So let's open up our split window here and move all of our patterns out of the way. Drag these up, and for this I'm going to do kind of a standard sleeve. I usually go about 2 blocks or so in height, and from the wrist to the center line. And then with the Z tool, offset with symmetric editing. Now I make the cap and I bring that over to about the armpit. Add another point. Curve it so it looks normal. I taper in the sleeves a little bit. I go out a little bit further with right before the cap. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to remove length editing, and that way when I sew it on, it's not going to look weird. But before I do that, let's get rid of this anchor point. Let's offset with an internal line. And I want to actually reduce this to 4. And I'm going to increase the distance to 5.5. And that way I get an internal line that goes to right about the cap there, or the start of the cap. Okay. Now, the A tool, I'm gonna symmetric pattern with sewing. And in the 3D window, move them into position. Alright, for this one I'm going to sew first, and then I'm going to add the clone layer underneath. So I'll just do this side because it's got symmetric pattern with sewing. I'm going to use the M&N sewing tool. I'm going to click along once, hit return, and do the front. And then do the back again. Click again, hit enter, hit enter. And then we have it sewn on both sides, and that looks okay. And remember, with this method that we're using, we're always sewing to the front clone. So in other words, the top layer of our pattern. I'm going to go to the 3D pattern for a sec, hit simulate temporarily, let it start to drape. So we'll just segment sew right across the sleeve in the 2D window. Okay, there we go, that looks okay. Hit simulate. Get that one to behave right. And it's important that these are overlapping the body kind of evenly, so if you have anything like this, take a minute to pull it out. Now I'm going to clone under, put this pattern underneath, same thing for this one, clone under, and for these two, I'm going to set the pressure at -20. And the top two at 20. Also make sure to select the top, make sure that they show up as yellow, knowing that they're on top of one another. Go 3D window and hit simulate, and they should inflate. Again, this sleeve is not fully behaving. Okay, looks good. It's overhanging the hands a bit, and now I'm going to shorten this just a little bit. Now we need to put wristbands on. I'm going to just estimate the wristband size to begin with. And once I have it, I'm going to go do most of my work over in the 3D window. It's important that this is the right size to begin with and placed in a position that's going to allow it to wrap around the sleeve most easily. So I'm going to put it about at the top of the hand, and then I'll shorten this pattern a little bit more. Freeze this one real quick. Freeze that one real quick and shorten up the sleeve. Okay, that looks good. Right before I sew it, I'm going to do a symmetric pattern with sewing. Set one over there, and now I can segment sew to the top pattern. Hopefully that's in the right spot. That looks good. Okay, for this one, we're going to do one at a time and hope that it works. Hit simulate, and before it gets too far around, you have to catch it about there. You stop it. And just segment sew across. There you go. Now those work, they're pretty tight, and I've used the elastic so it really puffs it up. That's how to add sleeves and cuffs to your puffer foundation.